All right, guys. So in this one, what we're going to learn how to do is a testimonial. So first thing, when you're doing testimonials, this was to be worked with a client, and because we're outsourced, what had happened was they say, "Hey, can somebody from our media department call you?" Even though I would be an outside contractor, then they say our media person will contact you. This is my client talking to their client and how it works. So then they say yes. Then they get an actual call from me. I call to set it up, and I'm like, I'm really good, and I'll be like a half an hour at most in your house. And then because this is a home service company, they do curbing, cement curbing, and landscaping. They did curbing at this customer's house. What I would do then is first I would show up. I would say who I am. And then I would go outside. I would shoot maybe the curbing, the project they did, maybe take some pictures. This will be for what is called B-roll. B-roll is videos or pictures we use during times that maybe our subject is disengaged or we want to emphasize on something more. Okay, so in order to set up this project, what I'm going to do is I'm in Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm going to hit New Project. Now, I already have my logos and my assets saved to my computer, so you'll just see me bringing in those things. So just think of that when you guys are doing this. Now, also for lighting, if you guys want, if you're not shooting in the daytime or you're not sure about the customer's home, you can buy yourself a cheap ring light and position your camera on a tripod. Do not set it on the ring light because those are not stable enough. And just have the ring through the center, right? And have your camera shoot through the center of that. That'll get the best light on their face. I can't say enough on how the ring light is the best. And so we're in Adobe Premiere Pro. You go ahead and name your project. This is going to be ECC Chris. And this is just the client that it's for, and then his name. And let's see, I'm gonna hit create. You can go ahead and click skip. So right here, right away, we know we have shot our content within horizontal like that, like if you were to watch a standard YouTube video, but we wanna get it in real format. So what you're gonna wanna do is go to File, go to New, Sequence, and under here, we leave the time rate alone for now. It'll be fine. We need to switch this 1920 to 1080. We need to flip that. So this has got to go 1080 to 1920, right? 1080 to 1920. All right, we can switch this down here to just H.264. It's standard. QuickTime is fine. You can leave this stuff unchecked. It'll be fine. This will be named Sequence 1. If you want, you can right-click that and rename it. You could call this Reel if you wanted to, like Reel format, Reels. Okay, and as you can see, our timeline is now consistent with how that looks. If you guys get stuck at any time during this video or your windows disappear, you don't like it, go up here to Window, hit Workspaces, and go Reset to Save Layout. Now, I'm going to show you how to master these quickly, and so I'm going to go File and Import. First, we are going to go hunting for Elevate Curb Creations. That's the client, the testimonial under C. This is how I have everything. Okay, here's his part. I'm going to click Import. And with one piece of content, we can either do 1 or 2 or 3 testimonials. Basically, I'm going to watch through this. I'm going to go always keep existing settings. And then for this, I think I'm just going to want to stretch this and cover the screen and then position it. So that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it would be to reset here and center him, and it would be to create the background. So how would I create a background? Just real quick, if I wanted to, this is going to be a move you're going to see me do. This is nice. You could go on a Mac, it's Option, hold Option, left click, drag one up. This bottom layer is going to be the one we expand under, right? Looks crazy, right? Now come up over here under Effects, and you can go to Video Transitions. Excuse me. We're going to type in Blur. Okay. And under Blur, we're going to go for Gaussian Blur. It's the most popular. And we're just going to remember the setting is going to be about 45, right? That is a really cool look. And if you want, then we can put their logo up here. So that's one look, right? Now, this is shot on a Sony a7 III, the 50mm prime. And I believe he looked at the camera the whole time, which I really didn't like, but I did want him to look at me. But his eyes are going crazy, as you guys notice. So we're going to find about 1 minute of good content here. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this bottom layer just so we don't have to cut on both. We're gonna go ahead and make our cuts first. But this is the part where you can either use this move at the end to do this, or you can decide I just want them to cover the whole screen. That's gonna be a little too far off. So for me, I think might even go something more like this. That looks really cool. I want this a little bigger though. That I feel is very appropriate. And now we just want something where it makes sense, it's free from uhs and ums, and we're gonna wanna just do some editing here, and then we'll add our B-roll after, and then we'll think about putting another song in for audio ducking. So with that being said, follow my moves. We're gonna go through and knock out your customer testimonials. So you start by introducing yourself. Okay. Hi, my name is Chris. And then you could paint a different story because you said you were more hands-on, the creative process, maybe the day of, did they pick up the yard, was the yard clean, did they work well with other contractors if you had other projects going on, and just expand a little bit. So I guess the question can be, I would recommend elevated curve creations because, so you could lead like that.
Hi, my name is Chris.
Boom, perfect. So if you guys caught that part there where I was coaching him, what I was doing is I was coaching him on a way to, if I ask a question, he wants to basically, for the viewer, respond. I would recommend elevated curve creations because, or the day of the curbing install went great because, I would like almost rephrase the question because I cut off my part when I asked the question. For the viewer, it's easier for them to understand the information. So I'm going to go ahead and hit C on the keyboard for cut, V to select. This just gives me my selection tool back, and then I can just hit delete. I can select this space right here, and I can hit delete. But more importantly, once you start putting stuff on your timeline, you're not going to want to do that. You're going to want to right click and hit ripple delete, because if anything else is down on your timeline, it won't shift over.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I would recommend Elevated Curve Creations because not only did they walk us through all of our options in the process, they were able to customize exactly what I wanted.
See these ums as we go? They gotta go, right? So C on the keyboard, cut, V to select, and then highlight delete, or right click and ripple delete out of that space.
Yeah, this question.
Get rid of that other.
Because not only did they walk us through all of our options in the process,
we can zoom in on that timeline a little bit more. And once again, C on the keyboard to cut, V to select.
They were able to customize what I wanted. We had some questions whether we were going to do some stone or we were going to do mulch, and they gave us all the options. We even took a tour where they actually have the stone and they have the mulches. We were able to pick out exactly what we wanted. And throughout the entire process, not only were we involved, but we were able to make those custom decisions. Even at the last minute, we had some last minute changes, and they were very accommodating to make those changes. And up until the day of actual install, we changed some things and it came out just beautifully.
So that's one, right? So guys, understanding that, like, yeah, I could make this longer, but look, that's 46 seconds. Right? Normally around 15 to 20 seconds for a custom testimonial is fine. I'm going to knock that off right there because that is perfect, and I still have another couple minutes of content. Now I'm going to drag this down the timeline and understand now that we're going to move to the second part of this, and I'm going to show you how to put some B-roll in here now. We want to go with photos from the day. So if you guys don't know, the photos that I edit are just on Lightroom, then I bring them in. That's about that. And then I have the client's photos. Let's see. Gosselin photos. Here we go. And I could just go ahead and show like the tree ring, the house, the curbing. Let's see. This is cool. I like this. And you can select like multiple on here. I'm holding command and hitting left on the Mac. I think it might be like Command or Alt on the, here we go. So we're gonna import, there's our photos. And now I'm gonna left click and drag them over and put them all here. And the very last thing is because I did a logo reveal, and I did a logo reveal Simply by going to envatoelements.com, searching video templates, and by selecting one and making sure that I was selecting a Premiere Pro template so I could do this. Right, landscaping, logos, reveals. Okay, here it is. Right, and I'm gonna hit import. And here's my other assets. So this is a logo template from envatoelements.com, and you just search video templates and you find one that works with Premiere Pro, and it'll literally just
Beautifully.
look at that. I don't even have to put a transition on that because look at that, it looks so good. Okay, so for his, then we're just going to use the logo. We will probably put that up here, seeing how we want that to kind of be up here, and then make it smaller just so they know what we're doing here, and a little bit bigger. That's really nice. And we can put that as a fade in. We can get rid of this blur so we can find stuff again. And we are going to do just the nicest, quickest. Now, if I wanted just a simple dissolve, that's going to be under dissolves. If I want something more poppy, flashy, we could use like these zooms or this iris wipe, this light leaks right here. That'll look nice. And then we can adjust the time of that. We can always select it individually and mess with it up here. Or we could set the duration, and then we can also bring it back a little bit.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I would recommend Elevated Current Creations.
So I could start this out with, actually I could move this up one more row because I could keep this running the whole time. And
Hi, my name is Chris.
let's see. And we could start selecting B-roll here.
Hi, my name is Chris.
And if I wanted to, I could move this over so people don't really see the whole address here. Not really a big deal, but I always think of stuff like that. Right? So for something like this, we would want, let's see. Since we're going to do that move, I'm going to show you right now what I'm going to do. I just moved everything up one layer. I'm going to hold Option, and I'm going to bring it down one. And now with this, I'm going to go find that Gaussian blur, and I'm going to just duplicate that over here. Now this will make sense in a second, guys. Blur and Gaussian blur. Right, now I got to make it bigger. Scale that. Okay, looks like 181 and 45. All right, so you got to remember your size because you want that to be consistent. That 181 needs to be for that too then. 181 size, and then that blur, oh, it'll show once I mouse over it. That blur, I could just copy this right here, right click it and copy, and come over here and Command V. There it is. And then adjust that blur to 45. Okay, same thing over here. Since we already got that, it's got to be 181. Got to make sure that. All right, and now we can hit Command V. It'll drop that blur. That, guys? Now, this is a hard line right here. If you want to switch that hard line right there, we can go drop shadow. We can type in drop shadow, and we can literally go like this and then zoom up. Let me show how nice this looks once you start messing with these drop shadows. Let me close this. Okay, here's the drop shadow. And this will show you the distance and direction, right? Okay. Get the drop shadow on this guy right here. We'll turn it up to 100 so we can see it. And we'll put out that distance a whole bunch so we see it. But the direction, we want that to... There it is. Okay. I got it on the wrong one. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so I'm just going to copy that drop shadow effect, and it's got to go on this top one. Command V. Now you can see it immediately. It's up here. Okay, so now it's at 100%. We're not going to keep it at 100%. We're going to move it to that bottom. We're going to give it like that big of a lip. Then we're going to soften that up. And then we're going to drop it down to 75 and see how that looks. And that looks really smooth right there. Got that nice little layer. If I wanted to, I could soften it up more. And I could give it more distance if I wanted to make it pop just a little bit more. And then I would copy this effect, this drop shadow, and I would Command C, come over here, and I'll show you. As soon as I paste it, it's Command V, or you can come back up here into the effects controls on the left and right click and hit paste, Command V. Let me bring it over here, Command V. It just looks really nice. Okay, so we're going to cover up his eyes in the beginning. He does a lot of talking like that, and right here. Now, we don't have to create double backgrounds for everything. We just want to show some of the work here, and we want to get that address out of there. So if I wanted to, I could cover that up.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I would recommend elevating curve.
All right, so maybe I don't want anything with the client's address on there.
Great.
All right. So we don't know the way that they're going to feel about that, so let's just not. So this is a safer bet right here, and then we could make this a little bit smaller, like under that, and it covers up the video.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I would recommend elevating.
Now, right here we can cut out, C to cut, V to select that other layer, delete, turn that eye back on. That was just me seeing something there. Seen the video. Now for the B-roll stuff, we generally just like to use a simple film dissolve, fade it out, because watch.
And I would recommend elevating current creations because not only did they walk us through all of our options in the process.
Boom, now another B-roll, just pick something, options, make it look good. Right here, this looks like a cool thing. This is a tree ring they got. Let's see. Dang, it's not covering the video all the way. So let's see if I can make it cover the video all the way. And yep, that's a cool tree ring. It doesn't show the whole thing.
They were able to customize exactly what I wanted. We had some questions whether we're going to do some stone.
And that works. You guys, if you guys notice, it didn't really cover that top layer right here. But there was nothing moving. It covered his head, so it was fine. It worked. But normally I would cover that, guys. But since there was nothing moving in that frame, you can get away with it.
We had some questions whether we're going to do some stone or we were going to do mulch.
And we're going to do a film dissolve at the front of that.
Options in the process. They were able to customize exactly what I wanted. We had some questions whether we're going to do some stone or we were going to do mulch, and they gave us all the options.
Boom, they gave us all the options. Okay, so we already used that one. Let's switch back out. We got some other ones here. Oh man, picked all the same ones? No way. That's cool. I don't really want to use this address, but it sure is cool. And I do have video that I can use. Drone footage. All right.
We even took a tour of where they actually have the stone and they have the mulches. We were able to pick out exactly what we wanted.
And then now I'm going to go with a little bit of video that I have. If you guys have video, you can go ahead and use that as well. I'm just showcasing a couple different options that I like and that I think is really nice. And now this is like really overkill with this type of editing style that I have going on here. But right here. Okay, gotta find it. Okay, so I'll take this. Okay. There it is. And then, so I'm not going to use this audio or anything else. This was just a fancier edit because clients like the best. So I think for this, I'm going to slide this down more over here. I'm going to put a film dissolve on this beginning piece, and then right here, this can be like right in the beginning.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I would recommend
And this can be after for the logo.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I would recommend Elevated Curve Creations.
And then I would fade that out because I don't have that faded out. So that'd be
Hi, my name
better.
is Chris, and I would recommend Elevated Curve Creations because not only did they walk us through all of our options in the process, they were able to customize exactly what I wanted. We had some questions whether we were going to do some stone or we were going to do mulch, and they gave us all the options. We even took a tour of where they actually have the stone and they have the mulches. We were able to pick out exactly what we wanted. And throughout the entire process, we not only were involved, but we were able to make those custom decisions. Even at the last minute, we had some last minute changes, and they were very accommodating to make those changes.
So let's get something else in there. I don't want to show that. Okay, let's see. Maybe right here. Okay. Maybe just right here. Okay, that is such a good look here that, yeah, sorry guys. That audio is, don't worry about that. Here we go. I think maybe this will be good.
And they were very accommodating to make those changes.
And then right here, I would just go film dissolve. If I don't want this logo in there, I would just cut that logo out, delete it, and it'll disappear. And if I want, I can add an effect at the end of that to make it fade out. I can bring this up a little bit so it fades out right before.
They were very accommodating to make those changes. And up until the day of actual install,
and then obviously I would put a fade on that too.
We changed some things and it came out just beautifully.
Yeah. And then right there is where I'd cut, actually. Just beautifully.
Just beautifully.
Bam, cut all that extra shit out. And that is perfect, guys. This is done. This will transition really good.
Just beautifully.
And that's a great piece of content. Now, the very last thing I want to show you is just getting some music in here, which would be in VatoElements.com. You search music inspiration, go find it, download it, upload it. This next part, I'm going to act as if you just downloaded a piece of music for this, and with that, I'm just going to go find wherever I had music for this, and I think it was right here, and we're going to import this, and I'm going to just put this underneath the audio, right? And I'm going to go to the beginning and find where it starts, and I'm going to go right here. I'm going to cut into it, bring it back, and now I'm going to look for the audio fades. The audio fades are going to be your best friend of any cuts in between clips that if they bump or they make a noise, let's say you cut an on or an out and the next word sounds bad, this little guy, this exponential fade is going to be your best friend to put it centered in the middle of a cut. So for example, right here, in this audio, if this sounded like crap right here, let's see, I can mute this. If that hit, you would put an exponential fade right here, and then you would make this small. If you wanted to edit it exactly, you can click it and go up to effects controls and center it, start add cut, move it around like that. There's that, which is completely helpful, and that will help you guys. This, here we go. I'm going to have to turn this down, and then, because this is what it sounds like right now. I'm going to teach you how to audio duck right now. Right. Sounds like crap. You can't hear nothing. How are you going to get anything to ever work? This is the secret. Come up here to audio, or let's see. Yeah, it's essential sound. Essential sound. Tell that it's dialogue, or just click on something. And then it's going to give you an option for ducking. Let's see. And if it doesn't, then the other option is to do the reverse. Cut to the end of your logo reveal, okay, and select your audio, and then it's going to say, okay, so you select the audio underneath, turn on ducking, duck against dialogue clips, turn the sensitivity all the way up, and you want to put this at like negative, anywhere from 28 to 32 is pretty good. I'm going to hit enter, but make sure you come down here and click generate keyframes. That's going to make this thing perfect and run really good. And then you just got to check everything.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I would recommend downloading Current Creations because
now you want to highlight his audio and go back to dialogue and turn clip volume. You can turn this up a couple decibels.
not only did they want
Okay, or the other thing is to turn him into podcast voice. That'll turn it up too.
walk us through all of our options in the process, they were able to customize exactly what I wanted. We had some questions whether we're going to.
Now there's a little bit of repair that we could do. Reduce noise, de-reverb. Might be de-reverb in this case, but maybe reduce noise.
Some stone or mulch, and they gave us all the options. We even took a tour of where they actually have.
Okay, so we're going to turn this down a little bit more. We're going to go negative 33. And because we want his voice to be sounding better.
Because not only did they walk us through all of our options in the process,
We're going to turn this up maybe 2.5 decibels. We'll try that. We'll make it all consistent.
we were able to customize exactly what I wanted. We had some questions whether we were going to do some stone or we were going to do mulch, and they gave us all the options. We even took a tour of where they actually have the stone.
7.3. Looks like that's the new lead for this because you want it.
And they
You want it to be right before the yellow.
We wanted
Right about here.
And throughout the entire process, we not only were involved, but we were able to make
You
those
want it
custom
under this
decisions,
negative
even at
6
last minute, we
to
had some
like
last
negative
minute
9 or
changes.
12. This is a good
And
range.
they were very accommodating to make those changes. And up until the day
Now you guys know it's
actual
going to get too
install,
loud right here.
we
We're going to
changed
turn
some
that down.
things, and it came out just beautifully.
Okay, yeah, that's way too loud. It can just do this. That'll be fine. Look at that. It's still under that negative 12. It's perfect. The only thing we're missing is one effect for exponential fade at the end. Which we don't want. With that audio fade out, guys. And that's exactly how you do a video testimonial. Look at that. We had all of our B-roll, we audio ducked, everything like a complete pro. You guys can sell more video doing this and have complete professional testimonials that are great as long, and they're evergreen forever, meaning they will be forever perfect forever as long as they don't change their company logo, pretty much. Besides that, this is exactly how to do it. When you download these music at envatoelements.com, just remember to grab your license keys if you're using them on YouTube, because you will have to fight a dispute. You just upload that license key and say that, okay, we have copyright, we have permission to use this. But that's the workflow, guys. It's super simple, super easy. And I'm glad to teach you this to have all these best results. These are great for reels to reuse around every season. They're great for their website. They're great to send off in customer email flows and nurture lead follow-ups. And they're just period all around great for positioning. This is great content, guys. All right, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.